When my grandmother died, she left me something that could change my future forever. A small apartment. It wasn't worth millions. But it was mine. Or at least, that's what I thought. Because 6 months later, my parents sold it without telling me. Why? To pay for my sister's $100,000 wedding. And when I found out what they had done, I made a decision that changed our family forever and why grandmother was the only person in my family who truly saw me. While my parents focused most of their attention on my younger sister, Chloe, Grandma always treated us equally. She listened when I talked. She remembered my birthdays. She showed up for every important moment in my life. When I graduated college, Grandma was there. When I got my first job, Grandma celebrated with me. She always said one thing. Never depend on anyone to build your future. Build it yourself. A few months before she passed away, she called me over to her apartment. We sat together drinking tea while she shared stories about her life. Then she looked at me and smiled. I want you to have this place someday. I laughed. Grandma, you're going to live forever. She smiled. I wish that were true. 6 months later, she was gone. The entire family was devastated. A week later, we gathered for the will reading. My hands shook as the lawyer opened the documents. Then he smiled at me. Your grandmother left her apartment to you. I couldn't believe it. The apartment wasn't worth millions. But it was worth enough to help me buy my first home someday. For the first time in years, I felt hopeful, unfortunately. That hope wouldn't last long. 3 months later, I decided to visit the apartment. I wanted to check on it and start planning for the future. But when I arrived, something felt wrong. There were moving trucks outside. Boxes everywhere. Strangers carrying furniture through the front door. I froze. Confused. Then I approached one of the workers. What's going on? The man looked surprised. The new owners move in next week. My stomach dropped. What new owners? The worker pointed toward a real estate sign. Sold. I couldn't breathe. The apartment had been sold. My apartment. The apartment Grandma left to me. I immediately called my mother. She answered casually. As if nothing was wrong. Mom, why is Grandma's apartment sold? Silence. Then she sighed. We were going to tell you. That's when I knew. They had done this intentionally. And what she said next changed everything. The money went toward Chloe's wedding. I thought I had heard her wrong. What? Your sister only gets married once. My heart started racing. I couldn't believe it. Grandma left that apartment to me. Not to Chloe. Not to my parents. To me. But my parents didn't care. They had already spent the money. Over $100,000. A luxury venue. Designer dresses. Expensive flowers. A live band. A honeymoon in Europe. Everything Chloe wanted. Everything. Meanwhile, nobody had asked me for permission. Nobody had warned me. Nobody had even apologized. When I confronted my father later that night, he looked annoyed. It's family money. No, I replied. It was my inheritance. Dad shook his head. You're being selfish. Selfish. The word hit me harder than anything else. Because for years, I had sacrificed for this family. And somehow I was still the selfish one. That's when I realized something. I wasn't part of the family, I was the backup plan. And I was done. The next morning, I stopped answering calls. I stopped attending family gatherings. I stopped solving everyone's problems. For the first time in my life, I put myself first. Instead of fighting over the apartment, I focused on my career. I worked overtime. Accepted promotions. Moved to a better city. Started saving money. Slowly, my life improved. Every year I became stronger. More independent. More successful. Meanwhile, I heard stories from relatives. The wedding had been beautiful. But it had also been incredibly expensive. Much more expensive than anyone expected. And the bills kept coming. Still, I stayed away. Until one unexpected phone call changed everything. Almost 3 years later, my phone rang. Dad. I hadn't spoken to him in months. Curious, I answered. His voice sounded different. Older. Tired. We need to talk. I already knew something was wrong. Then he explained. Chloe's marriage had fallen apart. The expensive wedding hadn't created a happy marriage. The couple separated. The debt remained. And now my parents were struggling financially. The money from Grandma's apartment was gone. The wedding was over. And the problems were only beginning. For the first time in years, my father sounded scared. Then he asked something I never expected. Can you help us? I sat in silence. Because the people who had taken my future were now asking me to save theirs. A week later, we met face to face. My parents looked defeated. Nothing like the confident people who had sold my inheritance years earlier. My mother cried. My father apologized. For the first time, they admitted what they had done was wrong. They admitted they had favored Chloe. They admitted they had betrayed my trust. I listened quietly. Then my father asked. Can you forgive us? The room became silent. I thought about Grandma. About her kindness. About the lessons she taught me. Then I answered. Yes. Both of them looked shocked. But I continued. I forgive you. That doesn't mean I forget. Forgiveness isn't pretending nothing happened. Forgiveness is choosing not to carry the anger forever. I never got the apartment back. I never got the inheritance. But I got something better. Freedom. Self-respect. And the confidence to build my own future. Because in the end, the apartment was only a gift. The lesson Grandma left me was far more valuable. If someone sold your inheritance without permission, what would you do? Comment, I'd never forget below. Backhand index pointing down, open book fire.